How? Yeah. What's actually the main reason for this video? Probably the main reason for this video is because I've finally found something to talk about, which isn't a pickups video or films or collections or anything. I'm just quite chuffed I've got something else to talk about. But no, the main reason for this video is I've taken my GoPro out, took it out, can't remember what day, but it was some day last week. I think it was the weekend. Was it the weekend? I can't remember, I've forgotten. But yeah, I took it out for the first time. Took it out game hunting for the first time, and I think it needs a bit of a warning, before you actually watch it. But I'll get to that at the end. But that's obviously not really enough for a video in itself. Just go, I should prior warning for my next video. Bit of a crap reason to make a video. So I thought I'd tie it in with a sort of a mini review of the camera, because I've had it. Actually, I got it for my birthday. My birthday was the beginning of May, and I've only really used it properly in the last few weeks. My last two videos have been shot using the GoPro, and I've had a few abortive attempts, obviously, because there was the compatibility issues, which I'll get to. So all that original stuff was wiped. But yeah, I think I've had. It's only a mini review, and I'm not going into depth, because there are plenty of other sort of reviews by people who know what they're talking about on here. But I just wanted to give you my sort of experiences of it so far, and then I'll tie that into sort of my little sort of not preview, but little warning, so to speak, about my upcoming video. Yeah, so this is it here. It is the GoPro Hero. So I've written some notes. So I'm taking it relatively seriously. I've written notes. You see those? There you go. I'm sitting right in front of my window. That's why you can't see them. But yeah, so it's the GoPro Hero. This model is released, well, according to Amazon, released in October 2014, so it's coming up to a year old. Whether or not this gets superseded by another version, I don't know, because that's what they seem to be doing with their more up-to-date versions. They seem to be releasing one a year around about the October time. But this is essentially, it's the stripped down, I suppose you would call entry level sort of budget version. It's a stripped down version, I think it is, as if my fingerprints. If my research is correct, the stripped down version of the original GoPro. I'm not sure what that was called. Well, judging by what I've looked up on what's available on Amazon, it can't be the GoPro Naked. No, that can't be the original, because otherwise, Hero Naked. But that's sort of like the earliest one that was available, and that was from 2011. And this seemed to be a sort of similar functionality. I think it was sort of a re-released, redesigned version of that. Obviously, 3 years down the line, and it's re-released as sort of like an entry level budget version. Right. This, so obviously it's stripped down. It has two buttons. That's the main sort of that's the button you press, the function button. But they both have dual purposes. This is the start and the stop. It's like the function button. This actually turns the camera on, and you just hold it down, and it'll bleep at you. I'll do that. There you go. So that's on. You can see what I've got there. I've got one bar left. It's on. I don't know if you can see that. That's 1080, 30 frames per second. I'll just turn it off. Oh, it bleeps 7 times. Yeah, basically, you can press when it's turned on. You press top button to bring up to cycle through the menu, because that's your only menu. See, on the back there's no viewfinder. You basically just got a lens. This is how stripped down it is. A lens and this little screen here, which is a little LCD menu screen. So you turn it on with this button. Then you cycle through. It's basically a combination of two. You do get used to it. You cycle through with one and you select it with the other one. But I can't remember which way around it is. I know it if I was actually doing it, but you get used to it. So I think and there's multiple options. You've got like you can change between video and camera stills. You can change to time lapse or sort of photo burst, which takes 3 photos in 5 photos in 5 seconds, I think, or just a burst of 5 photos. I can't remember. And there's lots of other things. There's a settings menu and lots of other things. And the settings you just change everything you think of. There's a time and a date menu as well. So which is self-explanatory. Settings, you can change things like the resolution to 720, but at 60 frames per second. And there's another option which I can't remember what it is, but that's 720 at 60 frames per second. But it's got something else about it which I can't remember. See, this is how in depth my review is. Yeah, I mean, obviously, basically, you navigate. This is the main sort of start and stop button, and this is the function button. But you navigate the menu using a combination of both, and it's it's a bit a bit confusing at the beginning, but only for about 5 seconds, and you get used to it, and then you realise what button does what at what time. Battery power. Battery power. I've generally been using this for filming video on 1080i. It's 1080i interlaced, not progressive. I know that's significant, but I couldn't tell you what. Other people will be able to say why that's significant, but this is definitely 1080, but it's 1080i. All I know is that I know it's significant. That's what I've been filming on the sort of the better resolution. And I imagine that has an effect on the battery power. Battery power. Basically, I've been filming and I've been leaving the camera on rather than turning it off fully. While I'm filming, so I've been sort of putting it away and then leaving it on, and then bringing it out, and then sort of pressing start and then stop, and then And that's, I imagine that the sort of the power drains to a certain extent because I've been leaving it on while it's sort of in my bag, and the battery power is, don't know. Imagine it's sort of it's not so bad that it's not like it drains really quickly or anything, but it drains through usage, and it's probably about 2 hours of extended sort of actual use. I imagine to charge it, the initial charge is a good significant charge, and then every subsequent charge is sort of about 2 hours after that, I think. But and it charges through the USB cable, so you basically you have to have your whatever it is, your computer on, and it will charge, and there'll be a little red light there. I have found weird issues about turning it on and off when it's actually plugged in via the USB cable. I had a problem actually. I had a problem while it was plugged in. It was off, and it was on. I turned it off through this button, and I couldn't turn it back on again. And I've not encountered that problem again because I've not actually tried to turn it on and off when it was hooked up to the computer. But where was I? Battery power. So battery power is, what you'd expect, I suppose. Probably. It does tend to that the little you get 3 bars, and the bars do tend to disappear pretty quickly through extended use. I'll probably, yeah, I said probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Um, Limitations. Well, yeah, this is a stripped down version of the original GoPro from 2011. Let's just say it is anyway. Whether or not that's accurate, I don't know. But it's definitely a stripped down version of an earlier GoPro. I know that much. You can't take it out of the case. This essentially, normal GoPros, they come with waterproof cases. This is essentially this one you can't take out of its waterproof case. It's permanent in its waterproof case, so to speak. Access is via you open a clip up on the top like this, and you open it up like that, and you've got a back door. So you have your card there and your USB port there. That's essentially the only other functionality apart from the two buttons on the front that you've got. I don't know where the mic is. Somewhere on the back, because I realised that the sound quality improves if you've got the camera in front of you rather than this way. If I'm talking to camera like this, but either way, it's actually better than I imagined it would be, and especially from this direction. So you have two doors. This is the door it actually came in. This is the waterproof door because it's solid. See this door has holes in it. I suppose that's for access to whatever the USB port, or I imagine the sound's not quite as good when it's got this door on the back. And you basically you can just pop it off there. There's a little hinge there, and it pops off. So actually, this is actually the main reason why I wanted to do this review, because I've encountered certain things about it when I was out filming. I made a mistake. I don't know whether it was a mistake, I suppose. Like I said, so the camera wouldn't be waterproof at this point. You'd have to swap the door out. Get out. Fucking stuck the bag down. See, this is only going to be a short video, but it's turned into a bit more. See, look, it's solid. So that's for the waterproof. For any occasion you want to take it underwater. So basically, there's sort of like a. So you can't take it out. You open up the clip at the top like that, and it's basically in there permanently. You can't get that out. Limitations is that you can't get it out, and you can't change the battery. The battery's in there permanently. The other versions, or the more up-to-date versions, and the original GoPro from 2011, you can take the battery out, but this one you can't. So if the battery goes bad, then basically you're screwed. But then price-wise, comparing this to its most up-to-date brethren, this one on Amazon will cost you about 90 quid, 85, 90 quid, maybe a bit more. The Hero 4 Black or Silver, which are the most up-to-date versions, will probably cost you about 3 times that much. It's around about 270, 280, something like that. So you sort of get what you pay for. It obviously has its sort of limitations as well regarding functionality, because you don't get. So they all, or most of them, will come with a screen on the back so you can see what you're shooting. So obviously this one, you have to embrace the chaos with this, because you point it, you don't know what you're shooting. It's got the wide-angle lens, so it's a good idea if you point it in the general direction or something, you're going to get it. So the wide-angle lens is it's a lifesaver in that respect. But functionality, it's sort of limited. But then, like I said, you get what you pay for, and this is a third of the price of the other ones. The main reason I wanted to do this review is because I encountered when I was out filming. Like an idiot, I haven't got a case for it. Probably should get a case. I've been looking at cases, but for now I've been making do with socks. I was actually going to show the socks, but I've been putting it in socks. I was going to show the socks, but I forgot. They're quite thick socks, not expensive socks, cheap socks, but they're quite thick. So you just put it inside. It's a long sock. It's quite padded. And then sort of wrap it around like that, and it gives a certain amount of protection. And I mean, these socks have been used to house my DS in the past, to protect my DS, and they've done a bloody brilliant job. So I double socked it. With this one, I only mono socked it. Oh, that mono socked. I just thought of that. Yeah, so I was getting out. I was just going into a charity shop. I was just going to get my camera out, and it was a long sock. I put my hand down inside the sock and pulled it out, and then just as I was about to take it out of the sock, sort of the sock sort of somehow nudged my hand. So blame the sock, obviously. Yeah, nudged my hand. I dropped the bastard on the floor, and this clip, the clip, pinged off. The clip there. So this clip here came off at that point there. So it wasn't damaged. There's no actual damage. Nothing snapped, but the little metal loop and the clip came off. So which made me realise, sort of, it made me sort of. I made a mental note of the build quality and it made me think twice about how waterproof this actually would be, because the whole integrity of the waterproof function is based purely on the strength of that little clip. So, and if this little thing's going to be popping off, because that's the hinge there, and it was easy to put back, just put it in one side, because it's not like a complete loop. It's just sort of like a C shape. So basically, the whole waterproof functionality is function, ability, whatever, is based on the integrity of this clip, and it did fall off quite easily. So for a while I was walking around with the clip in my hand. So I had to make a note of that, but I think that was as much my fault because I did drop it. So don't drop it, in other words. I mean, it is nice and robust in there. I mean, I don't know, obviously you can't take the case off, so if you scratch the lens housing, I don't know what effect that would have. I wouldn't want to find out, because I wouldn't want to discover that my camera's now got a dirty great scratch across the lens and it comes up in everything I shoot, because that would be a pisser. But value for money, I think it is good value for money, because it does exactly everything I need it for. I've taken a few still photos. I'm not sure the still photos quality's not brilliant of what I've seen so far, but I've not really put that much effort into it. I basically just pointed and sort of press the top button, and it's gone bleep. I have noticed there's a bit of blurring if I don't hold my hand steady. So you probably have to sit. So basically that's the footing there. That's where it comes in. You can take the footing off just by unscrewing the hinge. So you got it. It's a quick release. I forgot what they call it. Quick release buckle. So you hold it like that. So and then you can sort of swap it out depending on what was I talking about? Value for money. Totally lost my train of thought, but yeah. Actually, that's I did discover when I was out and about. I initially went out with the buckle on, with the footing on. That was it. Yeah. Basically, I've been using the footing as a stand. I don't know whether it's meant to be a stand. I just put it on things like that, say on surfaces, and point it at myself. So whether that's not its main function, obviously, but that's how I've been using it. And it comes with these little adhesive mounts. So I think they've got like these little like protection covers that you peel off, and you can stick it to stuff, and you can swap out the mounts. You've got a curved one there. That one's curved, and that one's flat, depending on the surface you want to put it on. So yeah, I've been using basically this as a foot just to put stuff on. So obviously I'd probably do, if I'm going to use it to film myself, sitting down or whatever, like I did with my film pickups video. I had a table in my back garden, and it was sitting on there. So that's why it's down low. So that's why Sega of my house felt like I was sort of looming over him. And looking back at it, I thought, yeah, I sort of agree actually. I see what you mean, but Yeah, so when I was out and about, I actually had the footing on to begin with. Realised that it was a bit chunky. I couldn't really. It was quite. It wasn't very covert. It's quite. What's the word? I couldn't really hide it very well because it's walking around my hand, so I had to make it as small as possible. And that's another reason. If you're in it for sort of the covert filming, it's probably not the best option because it is pretty chunky compared to its like I said, compared to its brothers and sister models. Whether or not you can probably take the clip off and the back door off as well, and then that would be about as small as it gets. I mean, I'm not sure you're actually meant to be able to take the clip off. The clip just fell off with me. You take the back door off, and that reduces some of the bulk. But so yeah, accessories. Obviously, with all GoPros, there's a massive market for accessories. Everybody does accessories, so you can get accessories. You get head mounts. Imagine walking around like that. I think they go on top of your head, don't they? Imagine, you put like a right moron, wouldn't you? But generally, other mounts, they go on your chest like that. I think with the other versions, you don't have to have the waterproof housing. You can take it out and you can clip sort of strip the bare camera onto your chest like that. And there's like selfie sticks and stuff, and all sorts of extras. For if you might need them, you probably won't need most of it, but. I would like a case and maybe some sort of chest mount, but I don't know. I don't know whether how this fits into all of the chest mounts. They all seem to be sort of for the the ones without the casing. So build quality, yeah, I've mentioned the build quality. Lens is really nice. You might have seen that in my earlier videos. I'm really pleased with the image quality. Obviously, there's no zoom or anything. You can't zoom in it, and there's no focus. It's all just a wide-angled lens, and you point it, and it has this sort of fisheye effect, and you just get a lot in. It does make things look further away than they are. I've noticed it makes you look like a fast walker if you're using it, because had it down by my hand. I've noticed you probably seen this in my video. If you do, you can sit through it. I'll get to that. Because it makes things look further away. It looks like you're covering a further distance at a particularly fast speed. But in reality, you're covering a shorter distance at the same speed, because the distance is elongated. Does this make sense? Because this is elongated. You're still covering at the same speed. It looks like you're covering a further distance at the same speed. In other words, so it looks like you're walking really fast. You look like a bit mental. One of these people who just whizzes up and down high streets and stuff, and that's I'm not walking as fast in the video as it appears to be. But anyway, software. I'm actually not so unhappy with the software. It's just really basic. Seems to have less presets than iMovie does, because that's what I'm basically have to fart around with iMovie when I've made this video, for instance. This is using iMovie, and iMovie for some reason has decided to get rid of a lot of its sort of slider, and you can't really tweak things. A lot of it's all presets, especially with sound, which is fucking annoying, because you can only, or at least, and maybe I'm just don't know how to use it properly, but this is what I've thought of. It's what I've discovered, and I've had my computer for a while now. It looks like there's no presets. No, it's all presets. Or a lot of it is. So there's no slider. There's no sort of tweaking. It's all just choose one and that's it. So, which is annoying. I mean, there seems to be the GoPro software has more presets, but it's really basic, and you have like filters and stuff. Like basic editing. And although it is really easy, if this film stuff in MP4 format, and then I think for the purposes of the actual editing process, it converts it to QuickTime files, I think, which is good, because I have to convert my films to QuickTime files anyway, just so they upload quicker. So the software's okay, apart from the compatibility issue, which is ridiculous. That shouldn't happen in this day and age. I mean, GoPro, imagine, it's a market leader, isn't it? In the sort of the action cam, mini action cam market, GoPro is the name that everyone will know. And Max same likewise. Whether or not they live up to that status, still, the jury's out. But they should be compatible. I shouldn't have to. I had to buy this. This is a micro SD card reader, and so take the little SD card out the back, put it into this. This is a USB micro SD card reader, and then after that, it's just a piece of piss. Really, really quick. It just uploads, transfers directly onto the computer really easily. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm sure there was more I wanted to say. I wanted to maybe mention I think, yeah, this, like I said, this was released in October 2014. I think the alternatives, the more up-to-date alternatives, the sort of the ones that are priced around about sort of 270 up to maybe 300 quid, they were released around about the same time. I think there was an original silver one, which is about October 2014, and there was another black one, which I think came out in December 2014. But the most modern one is one called, it's a Hero Force Session, which is a tiny, essentially it's just the size, it looks to be the size of the lens, this tiny little thing like that. So which is about 300 quid. I don't know about the functionality of that, but I suppose that's, I mean, they're mainly built for people filming themselves on BMXs and stuff, skydivers. But then you get people like me who just want to walk up and down high street and go into charity shops and be intimidated because they might be rumbled by people behind the counter. But yeah, there are alternatives. There's a lot of good reviewers on YouTube. There's one particular guy I've watched a lot of his YouTube reviews of stuff like this. There's a lot of good alternatives, and I've mentioned it in the past too. They're like clones of GoPros. The SJ4000 was the one I was looking at, but they're all out China. They're all pretty much bought out China, and it's whether or not you're comfortable with buying something, spending maybe around about 80 quid on something out of China. Probably the functionality is probably better on this because a lot of them have Wi-Fi and they have viewfinders on the back and stuff. But the quality is really good, and judging by the Amazon reviews of people who bought them, the quality they do measure up, and most people are really pleased with them. The Sony versions, Sony ones are generally a bit longer, and they're probably a bit more suited. The shape's probably a bit more suited for a bit more covert filming. They look like you can get harnesses if they sit on the side of your head, which I think I prefer actually. It makes you look like a marine in Aliens. Not that that's my priority, but it's a bit better than sticking it like that. You look like a bit of a spanner. But there's a whole load of alternatives, so check them out. I mean, this one, I'm pleased with it. Build quality, maybe. Functionality is awkward, but you would know of the functionality before you bought it, because it's whether or not you need all those extra. We need the viewfinder and all the sort of all the other extras and all the other functions that you pay for. Whether or not they're worth it, they're worth sort of 3 times the price. I don't know. You have to there's something you have to make your mind up with beforehand. But I'm chuffed with it. Pleased, really pleased. I would prefer it was a little bit smaller, so I can walk around, not get stared at. But but quality wise, sound quality wise, image quality wise, I'm really pleased. So I would recommend it for people who don't want to pay the full amount, or again, the alternative would be the things like the GoPro clones, and which there are many. Look them up on YouTube and Amazon, whatever. There's loads of GoPro clones, and some of them are even compatible with like the accessories, the multitude of accessories you can get. But I'm sure there's build quality, battery power, limitations. Yeah, I've mentioned limitations. Mac compatibility, build quality, software features. There's 2 different things. Value for money. Yeah. Stripped down version of the I mentioned that. Hero alternatives. Stripped down version of the original Hero. Yeah. Alternatives. Yeah. And and the Hero Force Session was released as the most current one. It's from July 2015. So which is basically it's like a little cube size of the lens. So there you go. So So not really a review. It's basically how I found it so far. Yeah. On to the next part of this video. Basically about my next video, I took the camera out, did some covert out and about filming. The main warning that I've got is you don't have to watch it because it's basically 45 minutes long. I tried to film in every single charity shop I went in. I missed 3 because I thought I got rumbled in one. I didn't press the button properly in the other one, and the one was my local one, and they sort of know me in there, and I didn't really want to see them to see me filming, and maybe think less of me. I think I was being shady, in other words, because they're my local, and I think they probably do recognise me by now. So I bottled that one, but I don't know how many charity shops. A lot of charity shops, and it's 45 minutes. It was basically not as long a day as I would normally have, but it's 45. I've got 45 minutes of footage, so there's no payoff. The camera work does sort of degenerate slightly, but so that's a bit of a warning. My enthusiasm waned slightly, which is understandable because I didn't buy anything. That's the thing. 45 minutes worth of footage and didn't buy anything. There's a few things I could show you. You can see that I didn't buy, which are slightly interesting, but nothing major. And again, I didn't buy anything because there's no payoff. So it's basically 45 minutes of sort of the realities. Let's just say the realities of being a game collector who buys games out and about in the wild. Lots of frustration, lots of false starts. So basically, that's the warning. My next video, when I get to upload it, which is probably in a few days' time, it's 45 minutes. Just I really wanted to let people know that there's no payoff. You'll just see footage, some better than others, of charity shops, and generally where some of the places I buy my games from. So, and yeah, the camera, the shooting quality does degenerate slightly, and having a wide angle lens, it's not ideal because you have to be really up close to see what you're filming, because it does, like I said, it does make things look further away. But so yeah, to sum up, my next video is 45 minutes long of covert game filming. What? I walked around it in my hand like that, and you've got a little red flashing light when it's recording. And I went into one charity shop. That's when I bottled it. I'd already set the camera running, but as I walked in, I saw one of the employees, and she did a double take. She looked at my hand, and I bottled it. So I just turned the camera in on itself like that. So it didn't look like I was trying to film anything. But yeah, it's like I said, doing that, it's easier if the games are down low. Otherwise, you're up high, you have to sort of go like that. If they're down low, I can hold my hand down on my side, so it doesn't look so bad. But yeah, so it's inconsistent footage with no payoff. So that's the prior warning about my next video, 45 minutes long. So there you go. I'm sure there was something else I wanted to say, but it's already way long. This was going to be about a 10-minute video. I didn't realise I'd have that much to say about my camera, but I'm pleased with it anyway. I'm pleased with the camera, and I would recommend it. But bearing in mind the main drawback I've found so far is that with that build was that clip, how easy it just pinged off when I dropped it, and it's slightly scuffed, but only minor scuffs. But nothing more to say, I don't think. No, but anyway. Oh, you get all this shit in there. What did you get? Have I shown you? I've shown you these 2 footings and the extra door, and it comes with the USB cable, and the camera comes with this on it already. But you get all these manuals and stuff, and you get some stickers. GoPro, be a hero. Apparently, heroes like stickers. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Cheers.